Last time we used Xcode Cloud to set up our build system. This time, let's see if we can't get it to do deploys for us. Hey, folks, welcome to the Quality Coding live stream. Live coding, all the mistakes all the time. Welcome to the folks who are already here, Grant and Mudshark and Dan and Ignacy Perez. Good to have you folks. I'll share with you the moment of panic I had up until a few moments ago where I thought this is this is gonna be really short because I'm just gonna need your help to figure out what went wrong. Everything was failing. I'll show you what I mean later on, but good to have you. For those who are watching after the fact on YouTube, welcome. If you like any part of what you see, hey, give it a like. Check out my other videos. And my name is John Reed, and I am a technical coach. And I do have an announcement. I've got announcements. Let's see. Let's go here. Okay. This announcement is not new, but I'll just repeat it. Go to industriallogic.com. Community public workshops. There are 2 workshops coming up for public. We're doing lots of workshops in private for companies who hire us. Your company can hire us. But we also do public workshops. And so Technical Excellence by my good buddy Tim Ottinger. If you don't follow Tim, you should. Some of you already do. I know that. And Industrial iOS Development by me. That's one workshop. Hey, Omar. Welcome. That's one announcement that I want to make. The other is something that I think I teased a couple weeks ago, and I shared that I was going to be at, but now we have a schedule. And it's official. Swiftcraft in the UK, coming up in May. Interest. Daniel, always good. Jessica, so excited to hear Jessitron speak at a Swift conference. Very curious. That's that's one of the reasons I became very curious about this conference. Anyway, yeah, there's where's my face? There's my face. But this schedule includes 3 full-day workshops from Daniel and Paul Hudson and me. I'll be giving a workshop on skills you need for TDD. So, hooray. Excited about those. All right. Let's see. Let me show you what my panic was. I fire up, my things and set the font big to try to make this. Oh, by the way, sorry about my audio last time. Yeah, I sounded like crap. I restored my audio settings after accidentally mucking them up without realizing it, and so hopefully I'm sounding good. Oh, Grant. So check 1 2. Hopefully the audio is doing okay, Dan. And I got distracted. Great, thank you. Good to know. Hey, there's some other folks who have joined. Welcome. Okay, so I'm warming up my system to do the stream, opening up project and so forth, and I come here into Git inbox, to the report navigator, into Cloud, and there was nothing here. It was a moment of because all I had was basically an ad saying, "Hey, let's get started with Xcode Cloud," and I'm like, "Where's my stuff? What happened?" It was, yeah, I really thought, uh-oh. And so I go out here and into get out Xcode Cloud, and there it is. Of course, it's still. I didn't hallucinate last time. You didn't either, those of you who were here to help me. So I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? Start poking around for help. And one of the things for help was go to your accounts and go check them out. And when I did that, it was like sign in for my personal account. Like, oh shoot, I forgot. I got Apple notification in Spanish that somebody tried to reset my password. And so I'm like, oh, well, then I'm resetting my password. And you can sure bet that when I did that, I said, and deauthorize everything, kick everybody out, everybody start from zero. Well, I kicked Xcode out as well. So I signed back in, right? I thought, good, that'll solve it. And it was still nothing here. And when I clicked on the Xcode Cloud get started link, set up your first workflow or whatever they call them. And I'm like, oh no, why is it asking me to set it up still? And it asked me to select the team. And I'm like, oh, I clicked that and it showed Industrial Logic and nothing else. Like my personal team wasn't showing up as an option. I'm like, oh no, what's going on? But I did a bit of rubber ducking. Oh, I haven't shown my rubber ducks in a while. All right. Why is the light so weird on this? Why does he have a hole? I don't know. Pirate duck. Weird. There must be something about the yellow that's very close to green. Anyway, I did my rubber ducking by asking myself if, okay, this is going to be a short session and I'm not going to record it and you guys are going to help me and I'm going to ask you what's going on and you guys are going to say, and I rubber ducked and I thought one of you would say, did you try quitting Xcode? Did you turn it off and turn it back on again? And as soon as I did that, it came back. So, so I'm still breathing, calming down because that was right up until the start time. Hello, Silverback. Yep. So you guys, even though you weren't with me, you were with me in my head. You folks prodding me through the questions. I appreciate it. Oh. What are we doing? Last time we set up a build and test. What are these even called? Workflows. Okay. I'm going to try to get the terminology right. We have a build and test workflow. What is the trigger, by the way, on this? Start conditions. Main branch changes. I haven't actually tried that. But I kind of trust that it works. So this time we want to set up something new for deploying. And let's sketch this out. Let's come to our usual place because I've got some questions. Okay, if we mark this in progress, some of the questions we know are like, how did the certificate and provisioning? I guess that's not a to-do. That's like a what? Well, I'm going to mark it as to-do. And I'll remove the question because that's got to get up there somehow. What's that look like? We don't know. Other question I had was the build number. How does that work? I don't know. What else? I assume that it can talk to test flight. Hello, try something dev. Welcome. Your first time here. Or at least your first time chatting. Good to have you. If you are just joining, we are setting up Xcode Cloud to do deployment, or we're trying to, and I've never done it. And maybe you can help me. Other questions. Let's look at the how it worked out with GitHub Actions, which was a lot of stuff, right? Icon, got that. So don't need to do that. But basically, don't need the manual test flight. So workflow is a trigger. Here's the thing. I don't want the trigger to be, I don't want successful build to automatically trigger. I mean, we could, and maybe we should. But I won't keep it that way because I don't want to pay for all the minutes. Right? They give you so much free, so many free minutes, free for paying them $100 a year. And I don't want to chew that up. Part of what we'll do if we're successful with this is do a comparison with how, like, especially around pricing against GitHub. But basically, here, I'll just cut to the chase. GitHub, if your repo is public, you don't pay anything. Now, it's slow as heck, right? You're getting the cheapest Intel Macs, Mac Minis, but you don't pay. You don't, if as long as your repo is public, you don't pay. But let me take your note here and add it in. Like how to trigger. We'll figure that out. Trigger on CI. We should try it to see what it's like, right? All right, so we got some questions. Let me make this area a little bigger. Can we use a workflow? Are you planning on adding a test step to the deploy workflow then? Otherwise, you can't confirm everything works. I get you. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's see where it goes. And let's see how long it takes and what's easy. I expect a lot will be easy. And what's not. And there's like setup workflow is going to have to be part of this. For sure. And we don't know where else that will lead and what that will do. So let's just start there, okay? For those of you who have not seen this kind of visualization. This is called a discovery tree. Super, super useful. Way better than Jira. All right, let's go. And I wish, I've sized down my display, but I really wish that the theme, the large theme, would affect more than the code. That I could zoom in and we could basically. I try to make this the stream okay. I expect most of you, if not all of you, are watching on a computer, but I want it to be okay, at least semi-okay for folks on something very small like a phone. But there's no like zoom in. But let's create a new one. Here we go. Ow. Manage workflows. All right, here we go. Let's or get inbox. And this will be deployed to test flight. Sure. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Grant. Yeah. I know, folks, when we're out and about, and you're stuck waiting, you're standing in line or you're out at your kid's party and you're just like in the back waiting and you have your phone. It can be nice to watch stuff. Environment. Sure. Branch changes. Like, how do you start a build if any file changes or custom conditions in files and folders? It doesn't look like there's a way to connect one workflow to another. And you can search too, of course. Most of you have been searching all along through my fumblings. Trigger workflow. Oh, there was the post. Okay. The post action. I think that was a post action script, but let's see. That's a good idea. Let's come back to that. So let me cancel this. Do I want to save? Yes. Can I? No. Then why are you asking me? Let's edit this one then. Post actions. Slack, email. Probably a script. One of you found like there's a way to set up scripts, but then what? All right, let's try to get an answer. Developing a workflow strategy. How to run a workflow when a specific PR is workflow chaining. Here we go. Here's the question. And here's the question with no answer. It was just a reply asking for clarification. This is not promising. Let's see what Apple says. I sigh. If you have any ideas, fire them away. Deactivate a workshop flow instead of deleting it. Duplicate a workflow before making significant changes. Restrict who can edit. Let's look at post actions. It's like they really want to have the test flight stuff hooked into the same workflow. But what if I want them operating at different cadences? Again, thinking about pricing, but also thinking about, and this is something I've started to wonder about what we set up on GitHub Actions, where every successful commit would trigger a build, run tests, and if that's successful, it would deploy. And I noticed I was starting to get lots of emails, and I wasn't really active in the project even. You know what I mean? And if you ever want to code with me sometime, it would like you'd see I'm committing and pushing like an idiot, like a maniac. That's a better word. And all the time, because that's the heart of trunk-based development. Yeah, and I noticed, is this what with deployment, when you're deploying to like a web server or something, and you want your not production, but your staging web server to always be running the very latest, like the tip of the trunk, the very latest stuff at all the time. Apps are a little different. You've got to come through test flight. People have to install it. And it's like, I don't want a zillion emails. So I think the cadence is a little different, that it will probably be on demand, which is fine, or it will be on a cron job. Now, here's something Apple hasn't thought of. Like, I think I would want daily at a minimum. Here's your daily build with manual triggers for anything else. That might be okay. Or you might have, say, I want like a morning build and an evening build. Build at night after everyone's done for the day, so that people can see what it's like. A cron job is easy to set up on GitHub Actions. There doesn't seem to be a way to do that here. So, a bit of a dance. I think what I would like to do is not extend this one to build, test, and go to test flight. I think I would like a manual one. And yes, this does run the risk that somebody could deploy even though tests are failing, which is not great. But we're feeling the edges, the rough edges of this new system. And that's okay. It just makes me wonder what Apple will do. We'll see. Let's go. So this is going to be trigger on CI. This is like, nope. We're going to punt that. Actually, I'll just mark it here. Purple for punt. It's not happening. Womp womp. But thank you for prompting me to look into it in the first place. Otherwise, we wouldn't know. All right, here we go. Deploy to test flight. Branch changes. Here's an interesting thing. I don't want it to be on any branch change. I want this to be manual only. I'm feeling more and more weirded out. Wow. So it doesn't look like there's a way to set up an Xcode Cloud workflow that just either just sits there or runs on a cron job. I expect Apple will come out with more things as this goes on. For now, let me just choose a folder that I'm not going to touch very often. I could do assets. Could do provisioning. Here, I'm not going to change the accent color. This is gross. I don't like it. All right, here we go. Let's toggle on the top left. This, so that's, do you want to keep the workflow but deactivating it? Deactivate will stop the start conditions from working. I wonder if we can then still do a manual thing. Let's try it. Okay, thank you. Let's see what that does. And I'm gonna do an archive. Platform scheme. This will be internal testing. Okay. All right. How do I trigger it? Is there a way to trigger it from here? Start build? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Omar. I think we have a solution then. I'm going to edit this to get rid of that weirdness. Or maybe I won't. No. It's just weird and confusing to have all this here. I think I'll save it like that. Now, that takes care of that supposedly. We haven't verified it yet. But it leaves these as question marks. What's it going to do for the build number? And where does it get the certificate? Let's fire it off and see what it does. Start build. Aww. This isn't as much fun as last week when the just like get it to build and run tests, just super easy. Fine. My worry is if I limit it like this, can I still trigger it? Let's try and see. All these worries. Actually, I'll do it if the app icon ever changes. How about that? All right. And it's going to complain again. Yep. All right. I guess I have to flip that switch back. Now let's do a build and see what happens. I'm also curious what a push does. Let me do a push. Like, let me just touch something and push it. Something that's not changing the app icon. I don't know. I guess I can't just touch it because then Git would take it as nothing changed. Here we go. Let's get rid of this crap. That's just noise. And let's see what it does. This is really, it's a documentation change. Could it cause a test failure or build failure if you did it incorrectly? Yeah, but push. What's going to happen? I want to see the purpose of this experiment is to see that this will fire off. There it goes. And that this will not. All right, so looks successful. Question is now, can I do it manually? And when I do so, will it still, basically, will it let me? Looks like it might. Yes. Don't ask me again. Okay. So there's our answer. To get manual trigger, and pull these over. Actually, I'll put it underneath. Manual trigger only takes a workaround. And that's enough so that we can know what's going on. So that much seems to be working. What's it going to do? What is it doing? Is there a way I can peek? Code signing, it says. How? I didn't give you... Well, I don't have the cert and so forth, but Apple does. Maybe that's what's going on, is you don't have to set it as a secret or anything because Apple is the keeper of all that information anyway, and they've just connected it for you. What about the build number? We'll find out. Oh, here's a failure. Okay. Okie dokie. Error, one warning? Error while uploading build. I suspect this has to do with the build number. Let's find out. Xcode Cloud build number. Assigns a build number. Yes, a build number is an integer value. Xcode Cloud automatically increases starting from 1. Your first one, Yeah. Always integers. Here we go. This looks interesting. For example, your latest app version. Actually, we go to the build number, it's going to be something. Where is that? Info? Oh, I know I can find it in the build setting somewhere, right? But isn't it easier out here somewhere? Oh, I'm in, that was the tests. Here we go. Build 3. Let me try setting this to build 4. This is an environment change bump, build number to 4. And a push. And back here we go. Let's start this again. All these questions, right? I'll show you folks who don't know what Mudshark's talking about. In test flight, to get this to work on GitHub Actions seamlessly without changing the build number at all, instead, I used this, a timestamp, as the build number. Now, according to this, or what? I think I just saw something like when you are set it to like from some other system, because the build number can really be just a bunch of like this dots, numbers with dots, and it's a string. I thought I saw in here something about how when you come and start using the Xcode Cloud system, you'll have to set it to a reasonable number. Here we go. For example, your latest app version in App Store could be 121 build 42 before you start using Xcode Cloud. When you start using Xcode Cloud, your next app would be 120. Oh. Okay. All right. So we got to do that again. Yep. I kind of expect it will might succeed because of how it works, but how does it? Let's have a look. This is interesting. App Store Connect, version 0.1 build 5 for App Store Connect. So is it still going? Maybe. Meanwhile, this other one is happily chunking away, right? And chewing up my minutes. What's going on? Well, we know we need to do it again anyway. Let's do it. So let's change this from 0.1 to, I hate going up to that, but may as well. What I don't like about it is when you get to 0.9 and then it's 10. Like, how do you keep bumping this? But let's do what they say, and let me note this in here. This seems to be automatic, which is a surprise, a very pleasant surprise. This is bump version set build to 1. Like, that's got to be a thing. So let's do that. Bump version set build to 1 for Xcode Cloud. Of course, this isn't the interesting one. What the really interesting one will be the next build, because I want to know, does it keep track itself? I suppose it must keep its own counter of the build number and ignore what you have in here. If it's like, oh yeah, so the certificate, just to refresh us. So this is what I had. You know, it's got the profile which has me in there, with a certificate. And what I mean is, Apple's got all this stuff. These are just identifiers. And they have the information, so it looks like they're looking it up, finding the actual profile and certificate and using those, which is very nice. Remember what a pain that was over here in GitHub Actions? We had to encode things, encrypt things and upload them and set up the secrets and then make sure they're decrypted and then make sure they're moved into the right places. So definite advantages and disadvantages we're finding. Oh, I forgot to trigger this manually. Damn it. Start this while we take a look at the results. All right, let's have a look. If I refresh this, what do we got? Huh. Well, there it is. It's ordered funny, but that's the way it is. But it worked. Let me see if I got an email. Yep. It worked really nice. Let's see what you got. Setting the next build number. Yeah, this is the same thing I was looking at. So, we got the build number requirements down. That should be setting the next build number to a custom number in case there are collisions. What I'm curious about is, ooh, what's this? Oh, interesting. So this would be going up through the website. Hey, got you, Dan. Thank you. And saying, so they are tracking the next build number for you and using it and basically ignoring what you have in the project itself, which is good because that was one of my worries was, is it going to, how's it going to update this? It updates it externally. The thing that we did with the timestamp was so that I didn't have to do that. I didn't want to keep some sort of file where I'm keeping the last number or a database or something, but they do. So this is all right. There goes build something something. If I trigger one more build now, it will cancel this one. All right, stick around. What I just want to confirm that the build number does in fact like go up without us doing anything, but it looks like this is going to be successful. And these things just happen to work? Question mark? We think we're done. Let me make some notes about the things we discovered. Right, we can't trigger the manual workaround. Was to watch a folder that rarely changes. Or it could be a specific file that you could even put in a dummy file, right? This is like, nobody changed this ever. Yeah. Very, very interesting. There it goes. Let me now do it again. Or was that already the next time? I don't remember. Okay, that's 0.2. Huh. Build 7. We've gone from build 5. Is that because... This is confusing. Is that because... Oh! Here's why. 246 here. And 357 here. So, it's interesting. Okay, but it is working. I think we can call this success. It's pretty nice. I also wonder, like, how much am I saving by not, how many minutes am I saving by making this a manual deploy? On the other hand, like I said, I'm not sure that I want 100 emails every day, or that I want to spam my poor user. Although I'd say, you know what, just mark those as junk. We also discovered that there's no apparent way to give, to connect one workflow to another. It can't go on the success of this one. Yep. Yeah. So I think, yeah, the workaround is, the real workaround is make a file that's like, when this changes, it does the deploy. So was it the order deploy 5, test 6? Yes, exactly. Because we have two workflows, apparently each one, the build number is increases across your workflows. So if I did another one manually, that would be build 8 in here. I mean, let's see. Yeah. Yep, build 8. There it goes. Okay. Cancel. Cancel? 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 There it was. Cancel build. Not bad. Pros and cons. Like I said, you need to weigh how much this chews up. In fact, let's see if we can't take a look right now. I thought there was some way I could go to, if I go to App Store Connect, was it users and access? Xcode Cloud. Let's see how much we've chewed up. Oh, this is a little worrisome. I've already used 15 minutes. I haven't done anything. I'll be turning this off. So, advantage, ease of use. Clear winner is Xcode Cloud. It was super easy to set up and use. And I've already used 15 minutes, and I'd be like nervously watching this number because I'm a cheapskate. Now, if you've got a company, I'm a shark. If you've got a company, then the company, you'd say, pay for it, right? Or, well, not pay for it. If it's your company, you're paying for it. It's just part of the expenses of running your own thing. GitHub Actions, if you have a company, you wouldn't have a public repo, probably, not for most of your stuff. You'd have a private repo. And private repos, you do have to pay for minutes. And GitHub Actions has this weird pricing system. Let's see if I can't find it real quickly. Where it's like you pay for so many minutes, but there's a multiplier that Mac is way more expensive. Look at Linux. Like if you get a little 2 CPU thing, $0.008 as opposed to, whoa, that's a lot more than that. Oh no, there's 0.08. Oh, it's still 10 times. That's 0.08 as opposed to 0.008, right? So the math is still tricky. And this would make me want to set up my own build server, right? Something I control, something of the physical box that's like all this is going to do is build stuff. I think I would probably lean on that. We actually had that at a company in a locked closet, and certain people had access to a remote way to turn the power off and on, so that if you needed to turn it off and on, you could. These are the problems. There are also other systems out there, right? This is why it would probably be good if you're working as a company, be good to shop around. If you're doing this solo, I'd probably do Xcode Cloud because of its ease. If you're doing something that is public, a public repo, open source, GitHub is definitely the winner there because it's free. You pay for it by having the clunky setup, and it is clunky. But you own it, you manage it, and it runs on slow stuff, but oh well, it's free. These are the things to weigh. All right. I think that's it. That's a wrap for this time. I do want to mention a couple things. First, I want to repeat my announcement that come to Swiftcraft UK. Check it out. And next week, I will be off. So no coding next week. When we return in 2 weeks from today, it will be finally time to start SwiftUI. Could we use a workflow for the CI only and then create another workflow to push to test flight that only gets triggered by creating a release branch? This release branch will only serve to trigger the build. And the thing, I think that's a good question. And I think the trigger, like you'd have to come in and change this and say, oh, let's make it this new branch. The other thing, I don't know. I don't want to avoid, it doesn't seem to be a way to do that. And this isn't a release. This is continuous delivery. What we're trying to do here. And so I really wouldn't make sense to have a branch for that. We just live on the main branch. Everything comes from the main branch. We're all happy together, and we get our users testing stuff directly from the main branch. It just works better. So good idea, Dan. Let's keep an eye on what Apple announces as this matures. This is still young and new, and it's pretty good. I'm pretty exciting. It's good to see them finally get in the game after acquiring Bitrise so many years ago. And again, check out other solutions for according to your needs. Shop around. All right. So that's it. Take care. 2 weeks from today, let's come back and let's forget about Git inbox. We'll park that and let's start Mastermind and dive into Swift UI and see what happens. All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining. See you in 2 weeks. All right. Bye.